confusing. We're going to be cutting the mesh in half again. We're doing this because we want to extrude our arm without the hassle of doing all the extra work of selecting one side, going to the other, selecting the same vertices or faces. It's just a lot quicker this way, and since our model is symmetrical, we can just duplicate and mirror it straight after we finished. Or we'll be doing something a little different though. We'll be creating a mesh with the same data, so both sides will be modelled at the same time. But we'll go into that in a second. First off, we're just going to cut the mesh up. So go into edit mode if you're not already, and control up on the front viewport so it fills up your screen. Control tab into vertex mode, Z to wireframe, and select the right half of Bob, left to our left, and we should be able to grab all the box select Alt to take a minus selection, and just delete, and vertices, and that should be the lot. I hope I didn't miss any. No, that's all, and we've got a nice half of our model again. Out of edit mode and into object mode, and instead of pressing Shifty like we did last time, create a duplicate mesh that's separate that we joined up. This time we're going to create a duplicate mesh that shares the same data as the one we're actually modelling on, so it's more like a real-time mirror. Very handy. So Alt D instead of Shift D, and we've got a duplicate again. Right click to cancel the moving operation, scale and X -1, and that basically mirrors our object. Move it along so it doesn't overlap so much. Not that it's very important right now because we're not joining them. And you'll see when we go into edit, the meshes will move as one, or alter as one as we do our differences. Well, we're going to start on the arm now, but we're going to need to create an edge loop for the arm because I'm going to want a bit more control over the vertices. That we can't really round out a square block that we do that without creating some ugly geometry, so we're just going to create a whole new loop down that side of the body. So it's very simple and very handy doing a loop cut, as it's known in Blender. So to go to the menu, press K and click on loop cut, or Control R like it says there, the shortcut, and that's the one we want, dead center down there. And we could just move it about a bit, and then click again to confirm the operation, and we've got ourselves a nice symmetrical loop that goes all the way around. Okay, now we're going to do some extruding from these four faces here, and we're going to be creating the shoulder. Okay, we need to flatten them out a bit, so scale on the x-axis. That's much better. Okay, so extrude just a little bit to create our first part of the shoulder, and we'll run this out first off before we do anything else to prevent it from us creating a blocky arm. Okay, I think. As you can see, it's extruded slightly over there, mirrored it. Okay, now let's move that up a bit to create a nice bulk of a shoulder. I'll rotate it slightly because we need it sort of sweeping. We need a kind of sweeping arc round here for the shoulder so it can rotate freely, and well, because this is a very tricky part a lot of the time. Don't worry if you don't get it right first time. It's very hard to create good working shoulders there. Can be very frustrating. So extrude again. Scale. Move that along a bit. Rotate. We could do the arm straight out like that, and we also need to think about the position that's going to be made there. I did it facing upwards, but since we're not really going to be modelling the hand here, I'm going to actually just use that as a basic reference to the shape that I'd like, and I'm going to model it diagonally to avoid causing too many problems. So let's have a look. One more extrude I think for the shoulder. Probably scaled that last one a bit too much. See, we're already creating some nasty bulges under here that we better fix for our underarm. Yeah, that's better. Okay. Right, that's our shoulder pretty much out of the way. Let's get on with the upper arm. The upper arm only really needs to be about 2 extrudes, 2 or 3, and then before we get to the elbow. A good thing to remember when you're modelling something like this is try and model realistically as you can. Model something that you know, like Bob's physique is extremely similar to my own because I'm rather thin. So modelling a thin body isn't really. It's probably the best way to go about modelling a character, because I'm obviously most intimate with my own body, and it makes the whole process, well, slightly easier, I suppose. But if you're going to model something that's completely unfamiliar to you, there's nothing wrong with that. You should just make sure you've got lots of reference images and you've got a good idea of what you're going to actually make. To move that last extrude along a bit. If you struggle with the proportions of a body, check out some websites on the internet on drawing the actual proportions of the body. You probably get a lot more comfortable with it that way. Slight bulge. And now we're on the elbow. We're going to need to make this a bit bulky, because elbows tend to be rather bony on a thin person. Scale that out slightly. I want to scale it out more on the backside where his elbow will actually be. That looks alright. And the next extrude will be an even bigger bulk. Scale the next extrude down slightly, and we don't want a real bulk there on the sort of pit of the elbow, so we'll just take that in a bit. That's a bit better. Okay, I'll move that in a bit too. Yep, that's okay. And now we'll just do a few more extrudes for the lower arm, and we'll add a few preliminary edge loops in anticipation of the wrist of the hand, which we're going to model separately and attach on, or join, attach. It's a good idea to be comfortable with attaching different parts of complex geometry, because you might have something complex like a hand or a head that it really would be a bit of a hassle to model straight off from here. It would be easier to start an entirely new scene and do it straight up. Oh, I don't know if that upper arm's a bit too long. Nah, that's okay. It's just I've done it a bit thin, but that was the idea. Bob is a zombie, rather emaciated. And just one more little edge loop. And the wrist and the hand should come down to about there. That should be okay. Okay, still needs quite a lot of tweaking done to it, or pretty much all over. We've just been kind of rushing through all this. I think that's going to be okay. For now, anyway. Obviously, you want to make a few more passes over it when the model's finished, just to get it just right. And see, that's looking a bit unnatural, that bulk. Maybe we could do another loop around there. I'm not sure. Yeah, go on then. Let's go crazy. Control R. Whoop. Damn it. Control R. That's a bit better. Oh, that'll do for now. We'll just do some tweaks and then we'll move on to the next tutorial, which will be modelling the hand.